Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to Too Much Tech, and in today's video we're going to be taking a little bit closer look at the Logitech G Pro Keyboard. After so many pros have been using it in their streams, is this still worth checking out? You know, should you look at this or should you look at some other options like maybe 60% or just other 75% keyboards? Is this one worth the over $100 asking price that Logitech asked for this keyboard? So let's go ahead and go over the build quality real quick. Number one, the keyboard is primarily made of plastic. It feels okay, nothing better than that. There's no aluminum top plate or anything like that, so it's always going to be a bit warm to the touch because the plastic is going to be almost as warm as your room's ambient temperature. The build quality to me is very okay. The keycaps are kind of cheap and they're not Cherry MX, so you can't switch them out. Personally, I don't really think the keycaps are that durable because when I pulled one of them off and tried to put one of them back in, it kind of bent a little bit, and I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. I didn't really expect that. I really wish they would have went with like a standard Cherry MX design so that you could switch out your own keycaps. But I do like that with the cable that they give you, it's micro USB and it has these two little plastic prongs so that it doesn't disconnect while you're gaming. So that is a nice touch. Now you do have adjustable feet on the bottom that do give you two different heights that you can set your keyboard at, and I really like that because I always set my keyboard at the max height, so it's tilted a little bit toward me, so I did really enjoy that. Now this is a 10 keyless design, so you will be getting rid of that number pad and all that stuff, but the only big problem I have with the design of this keyboard is that it could have been so much more compact. Like, you didn't really have to have that huge chin at the top with the G logo and the game mode button, which I think is really nice because it'll disable the Windows key and stuff like that. And then the button for the illumination. You know, we could have moved those maybe next to the arrow keys or put them in the F row. That's just really weird. So I'm very confused how Logitech decided to go with this design when they could have made it much smaller. Moving on to the rest of the keyboard, the switches, we have the Roamer G tactile switches. So they do actuate a little bit sooner at 1.5 millimeters, and they also have a little bit quicker actuation time at 5 milliseconds. So that is really fast. Faster than we would probably even notice because the average actuation time for other gaming keyboards is about 0.6 milliseconds. So it can give you a slight advantage, but I don't really think it's going to be anything life or death or overly meaningful for you to want to change your keyboard just because of the speed benefits of the switches. I think that they sound fine and they feel okay. They're nothing special. If anything, I would say that they feel very similar to the Gatoron Reds that I tested on the SteelSeries Apex keyboard. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop a quick sound test so you guys can hear how they sound. Now, one thing I do want to say about the sound of the keyboard that I thought was a bit annoying is that when you bottom out the keys, it'll make like this little echo sound, and it's really, really weird. Because I kind of thought that was really irritating when I was using the keyboard and not wearing headphones and didn't have media playing, so I didn't have other background noise to distract me from the echo sound. Now, I do like that they have media keys in the F row, so you got your obviously play, pause, skip track, and then your volume control. So I really like that. I feel like all keyboards should have that. If not, it's really simple to fix. You know, you can just write a line of code and it'll fix that and you can add it wherever you want. But I'm glad they have it baked in so you don't have to do that. And then the way that Logitech does RGB, I really do like the way that they do it because it's very isolated. It shines straight through the keys. You can see all the letters and numbers very clearly at night, where you don't have like the overspill of RGB through the back plate like you do on almost every other RGB keyboard ever. And their software to change it is really nice and interesting. I like the different effects that they have. Like they have like this one lightning effect that I thought was pretty cool. That was the one that I kind of spent some time using when I wasn't on the Rainbow Wave. They got a ton of different effects that you can try and see which one you like the best. Personally, I'm kind of basic, and like I said, most of the time I just leave it on Rainbow Wave, so that's just how I roll. Now, I know it kind of sounds like I've been beating up on this keyboard a little bit, and I have, but I do want to give some constructive criticism for the next version of the Logitech G Pro keyboard, because I actually enjoyed using the keyboard and I didn't really have many issues while actually using it. I'm just kind of going through some nitpicks in terms of how Logitech can improve the keyboard, because I'm pretty sure that at some point they're going to develop a new version of the G Pro keyboard, and I want that version to actually be much better than this one. My constructive criticism for Logitech is get rid of that top chin and put the game mode and RGB on off switch in the F row. Just make it very simple, make it a function and call it a day. That's how you can get rid of a lot of space on this keyboard. Now the next thing I want them to do, I want them to move the F row a lot closer to the rest of the keyboard. Just make the spacing exactly the same between, you know, the middle rows of the keyboard. Just make the spacing exactly the same and move it a bit closer. That way it has an even smaller profile. Also, I would like them to use an aluminum top plate. That would be nice, especially since this is kind of one of the more premium 10 keyless keyboards and it costs about 130 bucks. So I would like to see a metal top plate as opposed to a plastic one, even though the build quality is pretty good. For the next version of the Roamer G switches, please use Cherry MX compatible switches, because what if I wanted to change my keycaps? I can't with these Roamer G compatible keycaps. They're not very great. They're ABS and they feel kind of cheap. And also, please get rid of the echo that happens when I bottom out the keys. That is just really annoying when I'm not using headphones. But other than that, I do really like this keyboard, but I just don't feel like, for the caveats that it has and for the other keyboards in its price range, I think I would rather go with like a SteelSeries M750 10 keyless over this one. Just because I like the way that the switches work on that one. If I wanted to, I could change out my own keycaps, and there's just a lot more customization with that one. And in my opinion, the build quality is much better on the SteelSeries. But I'm pretty sure that there are some other 10 keyless options out there, like some of the Ducky keyboards and the glorious GMMK keyboard that I'm also interested in testing. Is that it just looks like the build quality and customization is much better. So that is something that I would like Logitech to kind of tackle with the next version of their G Pro keyboard. Now let's just say that this keyboard was wireless, which I know that they have a version that is similar but not exactly the same that is wireless. If this keyboard was wireless, I would give the chin a pass, because I would obviously think that that would be for battery. But since it's not, why is the keyboard so huge? Would I recommend this? Maybe if this keyboard was like 80 or 90 bucks, if you catch it on sale, I would consider it a good pickup. But at $130 or $120 full price, can't recommend it, unfortunately. I see why the pros use it. It is a comfortable keyboard. It is very good. But after trying other keyboards, I can't honestly say that this is the best thing that I've tried. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to the video today. I'm gonna leave some gameplay after this so you guys can see how it's performing using the G Pro keyboard. And I really think that in-game performance is basically going to be largely based on the mouse that you pick and how good the sensor is and how good you use that, and just getting used to the keyboard that you're using, because once you get used to the keyboard that you're using, it's really not going to affect your performance too much. Once again, I want to say thank you guys for coming through to the video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you guys are new, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Enjoy the gameplay after this. Peace.